Welcome in, everybody. This is your self-care staffing for Friday, July 17th, 2020. I am Lou Pascal. I'm the school social worker in the Manchester City Schools in Manchester, Tennessee. I'm here to remind you that you are your most important client. If you don't find a way to treat yourself that way, life will find a way to prompt you, and it probably won't be pretty. It usually is not something that you would have chosen when something like that happens. In order to complete that sentence, you are your most important blank. You can use whatever word applies to the role that you play in your life. So if you are a teacher, administrator, school support personnel, social worker, school social worker, first responder, spiritual leader, anyone in a helping profession, family member, just use a word that fits to complete that sentence for you. So it could be you are your most important family member. Whatever word applies to your situation that reminds you to put yourself at the top of your list. You are worthy of self-care even if no one else ever benefits. So today I want to talk about morning and evening routines. So the basic principle of how this applies to self-care is just that I encourage you to take some time for yourself, either at the start of your day or at the end. And I think that is totally up to your discretion, whether you are a morning person or a night owl. You can evaluate what is sort of your best time of the day energy-wise. And don't let anyone shame you about not being a morning person or if you're a night owl. And don't shame other people for that either. Just figure out the best time of the day that would nurture you the most. Or you can have both a morning and an evening routine. I have both. If you need or want to pick one or the other, just think about your day and which one would serve you the best, either a morning routine or an evening routine. And you can give yourself the best part of your day. You can do that. That is permissible. So, what kind of things might be part of a morning or evening routine? Personal care, obviously, exercise, skincare, dental care, meditation, coffee. If you like a glass of wine of an evening, then that might be part of your evening self-care routine. Reading, obviously, I'm a huge reading advocate. A hobby, working on a hobby might be part of your self-care, of your morning routine or your evening routine. You could watch your favorite television show or listen to your favorite music. You could just do nothing. You could just sit there if that's what you want to do. You could just sit there and think. You could just sit there and drink your coffee. Whatever you want to do. So here is your self-care check-in question for today. What will you do today to implement a morning or an evening routine? What I wanted to do in my morning routine at one time was I wanted to change it up. I don't always change things as soon as I should, as soon as it occurs to me. A lot of times I'll keep doing something that's sort of stale. And I know that it is, but I just don't make change as soon as I should. I just get into a rut and I know it's not working for me anymore, but I keep doing it. One thing I've done in the past as part of my morning routine, if I had a book that I was trying to get through that was sort of a slog, I would get that book and I would just read one page a day as part of my morning routine. So I would just do one page a day and I would eventually get through it and it wasn't such a slog. I did a few books like that in a row and then I wanted to do something else. So while I was still doing a page a day, I knew, this is an example of me sort of being in a rut. I knew that I wanted to change and do something different, but I waited a while to change it, partly just so I could get to the end of the book and mark that off my list. But what I did to change my morning routine was I think I've talked about this before. I did the origami book. It's a book called Easy Origami, I think. And it had like 20 plus different origami projects. And I had always thought origami was cool and wanted to see about, you know, if that would be a hobby that I would like to do. And so I did one origami a day from the Easy Origami book. And it was a nice change, and it gave me a chance to try it and see if it was a hobby that I wanted to keep doing. So I put that in my morning routine for a while, and I stopped reading a page a day in a book. So I could go back to the page a day at some point. Don't know. But that was a way that I updated my morning routine to be a little more nurturing for me. So the quote, even though she hurried, she still went through the same routine she went through every morning. And that was Louise Fitzhugh from Harriet the Spy. Harriet the Spy is I would guess you could call it a children's book or a young adult book. It is very enjoyable. And even Harriet, as a little girl, has a morning routine. The song for the day, 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton. She says, stumble out of bed, tumble out of bed maybe, and stumble to the kitchen, pour myself a cup of ambition, yawn and stretch and try to come alive. So hopefully, so that was in 9 to 5, that was Dolly's morning routine. Stumble out of bed, tumble out of bed, stumble to the kitchen, pour myself a cup of ambition. And then she talked about yawning and stretching. That was her morning routine. So hopefully you're like me and you have a job that you enjoy and you feel a lot more positive about work than she does. But 9 to 5 is the song for the day, Dolly Parton. So the video for today, the research that I do for these videos is so enjoyable sometimes because I'm able to stumble across things that I never knew existed before. And this is an example of that. So Elle Magazine has a series on YouTube called Wake Up With. And the one I'm going to share with you today is Wake Up with Ashley Graham. Ashley Graham is a model and a podcaster. She is very beautiful. She's a lovely, stunningly gorgeous lady. And so this is Wake Up with Ashley Graham. This is her morning routine. So I will put all of that in the description for you. So also in the description, you will find my self-care menu that I put together. It's 100 ideas for self-care. That's a free download. It's on my Teachers Pay Teacher store. You'll find the link to the menu, and then you'll find the link to my store. There is a self-care plan in my Teachers Pay Teacher store that has the plan, and then it has 3 journal prompts. So it's a template for you to do your own self-care plan if you need something like that. So all of that will be in the description. Please subscribe if you want to be aware when I post self-care content. And if all hearts and minds are clear, I will see you all next week.